Yeah.
Hi friends, it's Miss Seashell.
And Mr.
We're back on Friday for another live edition of FOOVentures. We're super glad you're joining us today. We have a special treat today. We're going to talk all about amphibians.
That's a fun, long word.
Yeah, and it means something too. Amphibians.
Yeah.
Anybody know what it means?
Beans.
Beans. Yeah, so kind of like that. Amphibians. Two words.
Amphibians,
Break it up.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about some of these types of amphibians and frogs and toads. So make sure you ask questions, get your questions ready. What is this type of amphibian? And we're going to come back and tell you what that means if you don't know it.
The root of amphibian is in this animal's name.
Amphiuma.
Amphiuma.
Yes, this is our three-toed Amphiuma. Just to be accurate, this salamander does not live in Georgia. It's very close relative. The two-toed amphibian lives in Georgia, but you would have to get really close to see those little tiny toes, count and tell. That's the only difference.
Yeah.
So amphibian, the Amphiuma is an amphibian. It's a salamander. It has a crazy nickname that's kind of a misnomer. Mr. E, do you know what it is?
I think the people, especially in the South, call these eels are ditch eels or
Conga.
conga eels, because it looks like they're dancing in a long conga line.
Oh, is it Congo or Congo?
I don't know.
I think it's Congo, like the place in Africa.
I just have heard it before. I've never seen it written.
Hi, Logan. Thanks for joining us again.
Lucy and Bella always
Lucy and Bella.
tuning in. We love your questions and your comments. And Mom and Dad, good morning.
All of you are so dedicated to Oatland Island, the Friends of Oatland. We have so much gratitude for you. But let's talk about this Amphiuma here, this animal that has two lives.
Ooh.
There it is. Amphibian means two lives. They have two different lives. What does that mean? Why do they have two lives? So we'll talk about that too. So this little animal here is beautiful, long salamander, the longest salamander in North America. Is super interesting because you probably will never get to see it in the wild. Why won't you get to see it, Mr. E?
So they're almost completely aquatic. A lot of times we get to see salamanders because they have an aquatic stage, and they'll also move up on land. Ooh,
two lives.
Maybe a little bit of a hint there. And so we get to see them when they're on land, or maybe they're in a creek in the shallow area. We can flip them over. But these guys are very secretive because they will go in watery, kind of wetland areas, and they'll live there their whole lives. And they're also going to be kind of in the muck and burrowing around and looking for things, and also ambushing prey. So they're hard to find a lot of times. They go into holes to seek out their food, like crayfish, and they're very, very much low in population. They don't have huge, high populations. In our area, we do have them, like you said, the two-toed, and I have seen one recently, which was really, really amazing, at Whitmarsh Preserve on Whitmarsh Island near the YMCA. There was one there. It was like my most amazing find of the year as far as animal seeing. Oh, I told Heather. Didn't tell you. I got pictures to prove it.
He usually shares cool finds like that with me, but he didn't. So I gotta say hi to my best buddies, Maura, Ian, and I hope you're all there. I hope I'm saying that. And Pam Keener, and Abby. Hi, Abby. How are you? Thanks for joining us. Get your questions ready about this three-toed.
This one's
three-toed Amphiuma.
And they might be in extreme southern Georgia, right along the Florida border.
This animal is actually, the two-toed that we have in Georgia is only found in the coastal plain of Georgia. Yeah. So it's our special animal here.
Yeah, they are really, really amazing hunters. They use their kind of suction ability, like to pull in prey, and they can suck food into their mouth. So hopefully we'll get to capture that on camera in just a little bit.
They have teeth.
Ooh,
and I've heard that their bite, it's not venomous, but their bite can hurt.
Yeah.
So don't stick your finger in their mouth, Mr. E.
Yeah, so anything can bite, Michelle. I can bite, you can bite, mosquitoes can bite. Anything in your mouth can bite.
All right, we got some good questions coming in.
Yeah.
Aliana wants to know, how do they sleep?
Yeah.
Well, they're gonna have to wedge into something. So maybe a log rotting in the bottom of the pond or the swamp or the ditch.
You can
like
see
you
that,
see,
yeah.
I can see, because look how he's kind of floats a little bit.
Yeah, they have a little bit of buoyancy.
And then they're sleeping pretty much all the time. They're crepuscular. I would say more active at dawn and dusk, or maybe even a little bit nocturnal.
Nocturnal, yeah.
A little bit nighttime hunting, and so you can't. It's really hard to tell if they're sleeping except for activity. That's a good way to know. Are they active? They move around, or are they just sitting still? They're probably sleeping. Wendy asked, do they have teeth? Absolutely, they do. They're kind of like little snake teeth.
Little
teeth.
like rows of kind of jaw-like teeth.
All right, we got lots of people to say hello to. Hi, Daniel.
Oh.
Hi, Charlotte. Ashley, Maddie, and Izzy. Thanks for joining us today. Glad you came. Kayla wants to know, do they like to swim or walk better?
They definitely love to swim.
Those little tiny legs.
Yeah, their little legs are pretty small for their massive body. What's interesting is that they're becoming, or they're evolving, they're adapting to that watery situation by elongating that body so that they can swim better. But their tail is also flattened and long too. So because their tail is flat and long, they can get propulsion that way, kind of like an alligator has a flattened tail.
I'm trying to draw them over. Sometimes the vibration gets them excited.
Yeah, they like to follow the cleaner, the algae cleaner.
So they don't have really good sensory perception like you and I do. So they have little tiny eye spots that are pretty much not functioning. We call that vestigial. A vestigial organ is an organ that doesn't work anymore, but it's still there.
Yeah, they see light and dark to tell them which way is up to the top of the surface of the water, which way is down. But other than that, they don't really see much.
See if I can lead him up to you. So you can see his little eye spots.
Yeah. Logan asked, what do they eat? So their sense of smell, they're not really a visual hunter. They're going to use their sense of smell to seek out their prey, or they're going to use their really good sense of feel and feeling vibrations to go and seek out small insects and crustaceans. They will ambush hunt too, so they'll sit in a place, and when something swims by their mouth, they'll suck them in. So little fish, other types of tadpoles, crayfish for sure, like those small invertebrates, maybe even small freshwater shrimp and clam. They're very much going to have a wide variety diet.
Sean wants to know, how can you tell if they're a boy or a girl?
Ooh, that's very hard.
Well, so
Boys don't lay eggs.
Yeah, that's probably the easiest way. A veterinarian can probe inside their cloaca. We talked about that before with our, did we talk about that with eagles?
Those snakes.
Snakes, that's right.
Yeah.
So you have to probably go inside and probe around and tell what it is. We don't know, actually.
Yeah. And I'm actually not sure if they have dimorphism, which is like the males are larger, the females are larger within a certain species. So maybe if you had two individuals next to each other and they were the same age, you might be able to tell. But that's really hard to know in the wild.
You see his little ear flap right there.
Yeah.
He does have little
Really,
ears.
Yeah, that's the sensing
Vibrations.
through the vibrations through the water.
Okay.
Do they get along with other creatures?
Oh.
Audrey, that's a really good question. They get along with each other, for sure. These guys really don't mind cohabitating. And in the wild, they're going to have lots of other animals around them. But if we put fish in their fish tank with them, those fish disappear. So they don't really get along with anything that they can be seen as a prey item.
Yeah. And this animal is also prey for, let's say, wading birds, maybe, grits, storks, herons.
When they're small, large fish can eat them, yeah.
So they're going to stay hidden in the cover of the muck in the ditches or the ponds or swamps. Eric, I think we should give them some food and watch how exciting it is when they eat. This is a feeding day here at Oatland Island. They're on a feeding regiment, and they're going to eat shrimp today. So just our normal, brown shrimp, or I don't know what kind of shrimp we have.
Like peeling shrimp you get from the stores.
Yeah. So Eric's going to see by putting the food in, you're going to notice that there's maybe some, I don't know if you'll see it, but
So a little particle of food coming off, they might smell that and come up. Might have to switch places with Miss Michelle in a little bit if they don't
You want to switch?
come up. Yeah, we can switch.
Okay, we're going to switch.
Because there's one right here hanging in this vegetation we've got.
Maura wants to know how many legs do they have. They have 4 legs. So, and they have 4 legs and 3 toes on each end of each leg. And they're tiny little, they're almost vestigial legs, but they work, they use them. So, not exactly. All right, we got one on top there. They're just gonna try to, oh, here it comes. You gotta get that scent to them so they know that it's there. Black wants to know, where in the world are they most commonly found? Commonly found. Well, that's a good question about the world. I'm not sure about the world and the Amphiomas. I know they're North American, and I know that there's 3 species. There's a 3-toed, a 2-toed, and a 1-toed. And the 2-toed is found in like Louisiana. 3-toed's found here in Georgia. And I'm not exactly sure where the 1-toed is found, but those are good questions that you can research. I don't know where else in the world they are.
A lot of times during the breeding season, they'll come up into ditches. And so in rural areas and farm fields and stuff, when they get the spring rains that would come up, a lot of times they'd come out into those ditches. And
Pull them away from the sticker if you can.
yeah, I'm moving them this way.
Okay. All right.
So they're not good at seeing, as you can tell, but you can smell all that stuff in the water. Give it a little wiggle and see if you can come over.
Make it act alive.
Grab it.
Oh, there. Okay. Suck it in.
There you go.
Oh, sucked it in. All right. Oh, you see them swallowing? Super exciting. I think to me, they look like little otters. I think they're adorable. To me, I think they're gross looking. I think they're adorable. All right. Oh, see him blow some air out. See his nostrils? All right. Alana wants to know, do people eat them like fish?
Ooh.
Not that I'm aware of.
No. They do eat frog legs though, so I mean people do eat some amphibians, but I don't know if this amphibian's ever been a food source for anyone.
Yeah. Gage wants to know, do they make good pets? So in Georgia, you can't have them as pets. They're protected by the law. We have permits to have these animals, just so everyone knows out there that we function, all our animal collection, we work really hard to have and to keep, and we get permitted and we get inspected. So that's the difference between us having them and you having them. So I would say no on the pets situation. I'm trying to get the top man to eat, top female, male, we don't know, guessing. Oh, Eric's touching it. What do they feel like, Eric?
They feel like a really long, skinny frog.
A long, skinny frog. Millie wants to know, why are they so bendy? Ooh, Logan thought that was cool. Eric, do you want to say why they're so bendy?
So they have bones, just like all of our amphibians or vertebrates. They have bones, but the bendiness allows them to move through the water. So it allows them to wiggle into places, go down into holes, find their prey. Also allows them to have that motion in the water that they can use for locomotion to move places. So
No one wants them. He's up
yeah,
at the
he
top.
finally came up.
Yeah. Does that help them in the wild? Yeah, absolutely. It helps you become more flexible. You're able to crawl through like weird shaped objects, like random logs at the bottom of the water. Wendy wants to know, do they produce slime? Do they have a slime?
Yeah, they have, like all amphibians, they have a naturally occurring, slime coat on their body that helps them keep them nice and moist, so they don't dry out, because they do water and oxygen transfer through their skin. They can breathe through their skin.
Yeah.
And so if they want to remain wet in a dry area, they'll definitely create that slime. That's also how some species survive in really dry places. They'll cover their body in slime and bury themselves in the ground during hot times.
So that reminds me, Mr. Hughes talking about their protective coating over their body and how they breathe through their skin. So you really, really should be really careful when you handle amphibians, because they are absorbing anything through the environment through their skin. So if you have like hand sanitizer or bug spray in your hands and you touch them, you're giving them a dose of that chemical. So you have to be really careful when you handle them. Always, if you do ever get to wash your hands before, so you don't have any chemicals in your hands, and keep your hands moist when you touch them. Like don't touch them dry, because we do have natural oils in our hands.
Even the dryness of our skin can tear their skin, because it's kind of like stickiness gets stuck on us, and then when they move away.
So how about we go look at a terrestrial salamander? You guys want to go over here and check out Hollywood?
Yeah, he's up to no good.
All right, Hollywood's no good. All right, so follow us, friends. We're going to go around this lobby, and we're going to check out our Ambystoma tigrinum. All right. So you might want to come in a little closer if you want to check out. This is an awesome animal. Love the tiger salamander. And as you can tell, he's not living in the water at this stage of his life, in his adult stage. I'm going to take this top off because we're going to feed him a cricket. So, Ambystoma tigrinum, the name means big mouth. Let me see if you can see why he's a big mouth animal. Second. And tigrinum means tiger-like. So look at his banding.
He already sees Michelle outside of the tank.
Okay, I got a cricket here, a living cricket, and this is not for the faint of heart. So, let's see, here we go. We got his leg. All right, Hollywood. No, you missed. Got it. See that? That was pretty awesome. So tiger salamanders have a big gaping mouth, and they open it up, and there aren't any teeth in there.
Yeah, so most amphibians don't have teeth. We think that probably our aquatic amphiumas, they have those teeth because their fruit is going to wiggle away and be able to get some force moving around in that water. Whereas something like a tiger salamander, if it wiggles away, they can just chase after it. You know, they're pretty fast, actually, believe it or not. So he's really, really, really good at eating, grabbing that prey. And then if you watch closely, he'll do something when he swallows. Has anyone observed what frogs and salamanders do when they swallow?
It's so fast. I didn't see it. Okay. I've got questions.
Yeah, we got questions everywhere. We'll get to them, guys.
Is that enough? 3?
Yeah, 3's good.
Okay, we give him three living crickets. Wendy wants to know, when do they crawl on land? So they pretty much, they spend their larval stages in the water. Larval, that's what they call a larva, it's not called a tadpole. And then when they are ready to change to their adult form, they lose gills, they come up on land. It's about when it happens. So they don't spend a lot of time in the water, it's just their eggs and their larvae.
Yeah.
And then they become terrestrial. We call it fossorial.
Yeah.
Fossorial, big word of the day.
Yeah.
What does it mean, Mystery?
Under the ground or in the ground. Like a fossil. Like a fossil.
That's
yeah. Fossor.
Fossorial.
But what's really interesting about them though is this is a group of salamanders that's in the ground a lot and on the ground a lot. Whereas a lot of salamanders will actually spend their life on the creek edge or underwater. These guys are going to be up on the land almost their whole entire life unless it's during breeding season or in their young stage. They do need to stay wet, Asher. It's very, very important to remember that if a salamander, toad, frog dries out, it is problematic because they have oxygen and water exchange and they can't survive without that water. So they do have a very wet, moist habitat, and then we also mimic that by giving them water as well, by misting them every day, giving them nice mosses that will retain water and soil that will retain water.
Annabelle, is it my little Annabelle? Annabelle wants to know how long do they live? Ooh, tiger salamander.
Tiger salamanders live much longer than most salamanders. So I think they get into their teens actually. We can fact check that, but I think that they get very
well. I've been here since 2012, and Hollywood has been here for that long.
Yeah, so he's 8.
He's 8 years old now.
Was he full grown when you came?
Yeah, he was full grown. Heather, do you remember when he came? No, so we didn't do our research. We were supposed to look up stuff like that. Sorry.
We're going to see a lot of
We'll get
animals
back to
today.
you.
It's hard to know specifically,
Yeah.
but I know that Ambystoma live longer than a lot of other species of salamander.
Finn, that's a great question. Do they have lots of babies or one at a time?
Finn, that's so observant of you to think about how animals have different amounts of offspring, and offspring is a good word for babies. When we think about reproducing offspring, we think of their offspring as being a mass multiplier. So they're going to have a major group of young, and that's because they're going to be eaten by a lot of things. And so they will lay a mass of eggs, and that might be maybe up to 100 eggs, and those eggs are then fertilized by the male, and then those babies will hatch out. And because they start so small and they're in an environment with a lot of predators, not a lot of them survive to 1 year. Once you get to the 1 year mark, you live probably a full life. But as a young baby, your life expectancy is pretty short.
Lucy wants to know.
Yeah. So if you are thinking about specifically a tiger salamander, you get a 10 to 16 year range in the wild, maybe 25 years in captivity. We looked that up for you guys. I knew that they got really old, so they're even more of an investment sometimes than we think about when we think about getting a cat or a dog as a pet. A lot of people buy reptiles and amphibians as pets and don't realize that they're going to be a long-term pet as well, sometimes even longer than a cat or dog.
So this is a poster that you may have seen before. Salamanders are so cool, and we have the superlative of having the most diversity of salamanders. We meaning Georgia, not coastal plain Georgia, but the mountains, especially the Appalachian Mountains. It's salamander capital of possibly the world.
Yeah, and the diversity is just crazy with coloration, with size. It's really amazing. We have the largest salamander in North America living in Georgia with the hellbender, and the longest with our Amphibians. So you can see how they would get from 3-4 feet long down to sometimes the size of your thumbnail is the largest that some of these guys will get.
And yes, Lucy, the tiger salamander is found in Savannah, in the coastal plain regions. You can find them if you're so lucky.
And
have you found one of those?
I have not found one of those, but we commonly see marble salamanders and slimy salamanders. Those are probably the two most common that we see.
Yeah, where's the slimy on here?
Slimy should be top left, I think.
This is not good on my eyes. I can't read it.
Upside down.
All right. Do they lick their eyeballs, Mr. E?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know if their tongue can come out like that.
They lick everything. They have a very large tongue, and that tongue is used to grab food. If the food is on top of their face, crawling over their face, they'll grab it that way too. They don't purposely lick their eyeballs that I'm aware of, like some of our geckos that do that to clean their eyes in more of like a sandy environment.
So we have a lot of salamanders. It's pretty amazing in Georgia. Okay, I'm going to turn this down.
Why did you name him Hollywood? Because he's so beautiful. He has amazing personality. He's outgoing. He's not shy. He likes.
He used to live with Shyla.
Oh.
Shyla was shy.
Shy.
Yeah, Shyla and Hollywood.
Oh, that's so cute.
Shyla, she passed away.
Oh, what's that face?
I think she was a female.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go look at some other amphibians.
Yeah, we're going to go on a little walk and talk outside.
No, first we're going to look at the ones in the cage.
Oh, yeah, we got to feed those guys.
Yeah.
Man, there's so much to do.
So much to do. It's so little time, but it's exciting.
So our amphibians, too, are important to remember that they're an indicator species. We talked a little bit about that before. If you see lots of amphibians around, that's a good sign that it's a healthy environment because they're so susceptible to chemicals, so susceptible to human interaction. They need fresh water, clean water sources, so any pollution is bad for them. Maybe...
You guys know what animal I'm looking at? Anybody want to type it in? Tell us what animal, what amphibian are we looking at now? Huh?
I said, don't look at this.
And then if you don't know, if you know rather, answer this question. Why didn't they park on the side of the road? Because they didn't want to get towed. That's bad. Mystery, you're not gonna laugh at my bad joke? Usually you do.
That one was extra bad.
I thought it was good.
It's pretty good.
All right, I'm gonna try to get this open. If I have a key, I do, but it's okay. So we're looking at the southern toad. Okay.
Southern toad.
Wait, which key is it? It's this one. How many are we gonna give them, Mr. E? How many crickets?
Let's give them
A key.
5 to start.
Do you have a key?
Flip it up. You're putting it upside down.
Oh, I am. Look at how cute they are sitting on top of their toad abode. Okay, I'm gonna give them some. 1. Come on out. 2, 3, 4. Oh, get it. 5. How many?
Yeah, that's probably. Give them a few more. That's probably good.
6, 7. All right, toads are. Look at them. They're so adorable. Oh, catching them. Oh, they're doing so great.
And so what's really cool is they have this amazing adaptation that their tongue is not hinged like our tongue is. So our tongue is hinged in the back. It's attached in the back. Theirs is attached in the front. So when they're grabbing their prey with their tongue, they're actually throwing their tongue forward, and the back of their tongue actually has a sticky pad on it, and that's what's sticking on the prey, and then they're levering that back with a muscle contraction and bringing it back in their mouth and then swallowing. If you saw them swallowing, you might have noticed that they do a little blink, and their eyes kind of sink back into their mouth. And this is a really, really cool adaptation that allows them to swallow. And that swallowing forces that bug down the mouth so it can't crawl out and escape.
All right, so what does a toad say? Does anybody know what they sound like?
Sound like ribbit.
Doing it again. No,
Ribbit.
they don't. That's not a toad, Mystery.
Ribbit.
That's a frog.
Oh, okay, so they sound like,
Reddit. No, they don't. They're kind of different. Let's give them a few more. Well, he won't one. Get it. Well, he gets all of them. That one went right into his mouth. Oh. Okay, come on. Give you one.
that's good.
Okay, that's it. We're done. Oh, yeah, this is so cool. That was awesome. Wish we had a slow-mo camera on them.
I know, right? They're really good at sensing their visual predators, so you can actually tell the difference between them and the Ambystoma. Their eyes are actually even more forward-facing, and they're raised up, and they can see a really wide view. So they will even catch flying insects as well, which is kind of crazy to think about. Typically, they're going to find crickets or small insects that are terrestrial as well, but they will grab flying insects out of the air.
Oh,
And
yeah.
when insects are out at night, that's when they love to be out too, especially because in the coastal part of Georgia, we get those cool evenings, a little bit of dew, nice and moist, and they'll come out. Okay, Michelle.
Lily
it's
wants
time-
to know, can they change their sex before we go?
Some of them can. I don't know if American toads can, southern toads can. But some species of amphibians can. If there's a lot of boys and there's no girls in the area, some amphibians can turn into a girl so that they continue their species.
Well, all I know is that they can have problems with chemicals in the environment,
Yes.
that endocrine disruptors
Oh, yes.
that can change or have a double sex
yeah,
going
that
on
can-
the same
that
animal.
can happen too. That's crazy.
So let's go on a little field trip now.
Field
and
trip
we're going
time.
to look for a relative of a toad, and we'll talk a little bit about the hazards of humans and amphibians and what we can do to help them survive. What about this door over here? Hey, you guys know where we are? We're going on a tour. How exciting. Anything is possible. This is like teachable moments. Anything that comes up, we see. We're gonna look for amphibians though. So we're gonna go on a tour to the garden. So give me a thumbs up if you're a gardener. Send us a heart if you'd like to go out in the garden. Give us a heart, thumbs up if you see frogs in your garden.
Yeah, frogs are a great natural pest control. They're also good at hanging out in the soil, digging up the soil, so they're good at aerating the soil that way too.
So Mystery is talking about this group of amphibians as being indicator species. So they're an indicator of the health of the environment. Remember, their skin is super absorbent. They breathe through their skin. And so if you use pesticides or fertilizers on your grass or in your garden, they're getting the dose that you're giving the garden. If you're putting pesticides in, consider not doing that. Consider using natural remedies, natural things. there's certain plants that will repel insects that you can plant. You have one?
Oh, this one under.
Okay. We're here at our fake pond. It's not fake, it's real.
Oh, this one under.
You gotta be real quick and stealthy when you're frogging.
So there's some little green frogs in there hanging out in this little area. They're like a bullfrog, they're just a little bit smaller, don't get as big. Sometimes called bronze frogs as well. But we'll go to the garden and get maybe some arboreal frogs.
Ooh, arboreal, that's a good word, Mr. E.
Yeah, Arbor Day was just around the corner.
Yeah.
Or just in the past. And that's a cool thing to think about as Arbor, it's tree day. There's frogs that live in trees.
Oh, are there tree frogs?
They're tree frogs, yeah.
Oh, maybe we'll find one for you.
Hopefully we'll find some tree frogs. We have an amazing diversity of tree frogs in Georgia. And I think there's like 7 different species we can find in Chatham County.
Wow.
So super crazy that we have all these here when you really only think of like usually 1 or 2 in most areas. Usually the green tree frog is kind of the most common, but we see a lot of different ones in our garden. So hopefully we get to find some.
Well, here's a good resource for you. We'll post it later. But
yeah.
If you want to learn more about frogs in Georgia, the Savannah River Ecology Lab, it's SREL, SREL, Savannah River Ecology Lab, has an excellent herpetology page. And you can link on it. And not only do they have all the lists of species found in Georgia, they have their calls. So you can learn their calls. That's actually the best way for me to go herping is to listen for frogs, because they all have distinctive diagnostic calls that you can identify who they are based on the voices.
Yeah, and what's really crazy I think about them too is that Savannah River Ecology Lab is a research center, so they're collecting data, and so they have the most up-to-date data on ranges of animals and where animals can be found. They're also doing lots of support for University of Georgia students that are doing research in herpetology, so they're a very important institution that's local to us.
So here we are in our pollinator garden, and those of you that come here often, you can see Mr. E and I have been working really hard. We've been spending a lot of time working in the garden, and it's looking gorgeous. And we do have lots of frogs here that like to eat mosquitoes. Mm-hmm. Who said that? Somebody asked, do they like to eat mosquitoes? Sure. Yeah. When they're when they're froglets with their legs just coming in, their back legs, they'll eat them. When they're tadpoles or pollywogs, they're pretty much herbivorous.
Yeah, and salamanders like love
always exceptions.
Love little wiggly insect mosquito larvae.
Oh yeah, so we saw some insectivorous salamanders.
Yeah. All
right, so come on in. We have some secret hiding spaces that we have uncovered. Yeah. So we're gonna go look for some frogs. Isn't this exciting?
Oh, beautiful.
It's beautiful. So the shaggy daisies are in bloom. Okay, so we have a little frog pond here. Go slow. Mystery, let her kind of walk up with the camera so you can see who hops away. It's loaded with frogs now. And slowly you'll start to see movement. I see eyes.
That little alarm call lets all the other frogs know, be careful, there's something walking up on us. Looks like we've got some more bullfrogs in here. I know we've got leopard frogs in here as well. Those green frogs in here. I'm just going to dip out a leopard frog maybe.
Mystery's going to try to fish out a frog. Fish out a frog. Frog out a frog.
I think I missed him.
Oh, get him, Eric.
So I want everyone to know that Miss Michelle and I did a really good job of washing our hands before we did this, so we don't have any good chemicals on us. Ooh, sorry, buddy. So he's right there up. That's a really good view of him. This leopard frog is super fast and has a really far jump. You see that? He almost jumped, 10 times his body length, 15 times his body length. That'd be crazy if we could do that. We could jump like 60 feet. That's insane. So really cool adaptations with those back legs, being able to jump and escape from predators that way. and they'll go into the water, and they'll go underneath the water into the mud and muck and hide down in there. They have really amazing patterning for camouflage.
I see eyes sticking out now.
And then when they submerge themselves, they'll just stick their eyes out of the water. So they'll see above the water with their eyes and be able to escape underwater quickly. They're really, really good at escaping predators that way.
I have a question for our people, our fans out there. Okay, so toads and frogs, what's the difference?
Oh, yeah, that's a good...
So we had to change habitats, right?
Mm-hmm.
See the frogs. So what's the difference? Except they're always exceptions, right?
Yeah.
And,
like this morning, Miss Michelle and I found a toad
Yeah.
swimming in the water.
In the water, and it threw me. I didn't even think it was a toad. But he might have been laying his eggs in the water because they all lay their eggs in the water.
Mm-hmm.
But toads do something, their habits are different. So what's the difference between the habit of a toad and the habit of a frog? Does anybody know? Give us your answers out there.
Oh my gosh. What?
Good questions.
Holding, Amelia asked about holding their breath. When you hold your breath, for you guys, for humans out there, your lungs are putting oxygen into your blood. And so as soon as your oxygen in your lungs runs out of that blood, you have to get more air, right? But for toads and frogs, they can do oxygen exchange through their skin. So they can actually hold their breath for long periods of time. And when they go into brumation or estivation, when it gets cold out or when it gets really hot out, so that they can maintain their temperature, they'll actually slow their heart rate down, and they'll slow their respiratory rate down, and they'll just hang out underwater sometimes, or surrounded in that slime coat. So really, really cool.
So we're getting along into the program. So we're
let's go one more.
We're gonna go see if we can
two more species, 3 more species.
Hopefully, follow me. So if you're gonna look for tree frogs, where would you look?
In a big grass.
In a big grass. That looks like a tree. See, are they still there?
They were in the other one.
This one?
Yep.
All right. So, good trick in Georgia. Look in the palmetto fronds. Oh yeah, there they are. Little guys. Can you see them? So, looks like we have a green tree frog. It looks like, I don't know what the little one is. You see?
It might be a squirrel.
You pull back with your hand there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so the bottom one looks like
Doesn't have the white line down this side.
looks like a squirrel tree frog, because they don't have that white line going down the side of their body, so, and they're usually much smaller. So that's probably a squirrel tree frog. Adult, that's not a baby, and then a green tree frog, and it's turning for you. You can see that white line. That's diagnostic of the green tree frog, the line going all the way from their snout all the way down their side to almost to their back legs.
Yeah, and look at his little sticky feet, sticky pads. That's why they can cling on to anything.
Yeah, no claws at the end of their paws.
No, super adorable. Little insect eater, hiding, ambushing prey, hiding from predators, totally camouflaged in the green palmetto frond.
Yeah. Let that go back up, and if you notice, and you might have noticed around your house, that they like to use man-made items for their homes as well. So a really cute thing that happens here at Oatland is that we have these hanging bird houses, bird nests, nesting areas, and we get a frog here that will go up inside of it. And we got to be careful because this one likes to hang out around a wasp nest.
They look like they're breeding.
Ooh, that would be crazy. That would be super awesome.
You see them in there? Wait, they're on. Let me put them on the. I'll put them on the bottom. Right in there. Can you see that? There's 2. Those are the little brown ones.
Yeah. I think these might be
Barking tree
frog.
Well, we'd have to see their
bird voice.
We have to see their backs.
Yeah, so it's really hard diagnostically, like to figure out what's what unless you can see their whole entire body, because they do look all very similar. So there's bird voice and there's barking tree frogs. Barking tree frogs are spotted on their backs, and so if it's hard to see their whole body, it's hard to tell what's what.
There we go. Got a movement. That's just one.
There's just one in there.
Yeah, that's a little one. Can y'all see
yeah.
that in there? Thumbs up if you can see
Those little eye marks make me feel like it's a barking or bird voice.
Oh, I hear a frog.
Yeah, I heard a frog up in the tree.
Yeah.
And so they can be really high up in trees
Oh,
too.
there's two. There's another one on top of the wasp nest.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Got a flashlight? That help? He's got his little yellow throat and see him breathing.
They're cool, cool species.
Can you see him with your?
And like we said, any little man-made object that's got a flat surface that attracts insects. So go out at night, check around exterior porch lights and things like that. You'll find Mediterranean geckos, definitely, but you're also going to find tree frogs every once in a while.
So we've got 3 species right here. There's one more hiding spot.
Yeah.
It might be harder to see.
Is it Stormy? Stormy asked about, can we build things that will encourage them to come? Yes, for
Absolutely.
sure. One of my favorite things to build for amphibians are toad abodes. So anything that has a kind of a dome to it. I like to use like maybe old clay pots or terracotta pots with a crack in them. You can break out a chunk so they can get inside, hang out underneath there. Any type of domed log.
I have a funny story.
And especially birdhouses. They like to go inside birdhouses.
So this Saturday would have been our Fairy and Gnome Festival.
Oh yes.
Sad, we're not having it this year. But one year, 2 years ago maybe,
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys were some of the people that built fairy houses all along the edges of the property on the side yard. Well, Mystery and I were deconstructing the houses, and guess what? About maybe 1 in every 10 had a toad living in the fairy house.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they're very useful little
Yeah.
structures you make for us every year. We're gonna do it again, don't worry.
Any teepee-like structure, anything they can get under that gives shelter from above, I love it.
So we're gonna head over here one more place, and then we're gonna have to wait and see you next week. But come on over, we're gonna go see one more, see if we find another species of frog here.
Yeah, be thinking about what animal you want to see next week on Wednesday. We'll be coming back to you, giving you as much content as you want about as any of the topics you can think of, or you can give us suggestions for. So be brainstorming what you want to learn about next.
Okay, Matt, if you can get on the edge right here and zoom in, it looks like it might be another green tree frog on the edge. They like to hide them behind our chalkboard here.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, that's not a green tree
That looks like a
frog.
squirrel.
That's like a squirrel. Oh, there he goes.
There's another one back behind there too.
So anytime you
Up higher.
give a place for shelter or a gap like this, you can find frogs.
Yeah.
Tree frogs.
Move out. I'm gonna try to get one to come up.
All right, Mystery, going in.
There's one up here. Oh, he jumped. So he went back from behind. But they're very good at jumping, and they're very good at escaping their predators that way. So when you think about jumping for a frog, they don't jump just for fun. They jump to get away from things, to escape.
Well, thank you so much for joining us again. We
Yep.
are so grateful to you. Please share. If you missed it, tell your friends missed it, tell them they can still watch it. We are also on one station, Comcast 195.
And YouTube.
Yeah, we're
Friends of Oatland Island. Check us out on there.
Yep.
And follow Foo on Facebook, and follow us for sure too. We've got content as well at Oatland Island Wildlife Center.
And I have one more question.
Okay.
How do you think a frog feels when he breaks both his legs? Unhappy.
That was a good one. Unhappy.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining us. We miss you.
Those
See
are-
us next Wednesday.
Bye guys. Stay safe. I was about to say that would be